Hey, I'm Nero, and in the next 90 seconds, I'm going to show you Casanova's long-lost method for seducing women. Once you watch this short presentation and do what it says, you'll possess the same power that Casanova had and have direct access to the lust switch in the female mind and be able to activate it at will. And you'll be able to do things with women that up until 20 seconds ago, you could only dream about. I'm talking about girls eyeballing you as they bite their lip and flip their hair, fantasizing about being naked in your bed, sliding up and down on your cock as they moan in your ear. And you're gonna do it even if you're short, fat, ugly, bald, or if you had zero game when you clicked on this presentation. Don't believe it? Well, let me ask you a question. How much do you know about Giacomo Casanova? Probably know he was a womanizer. Everybody knows that. But do you know how good he actually was? And did you know that he was ugly as sin? He had sunken cheeks, a hooked nose, and his face was destroyed by smallpox scars. Yet he was so effective with women that they were literally hypnotized in his presence. They slipped into what's called a lust trance, where any suggestion he made was accepted without second thought. Casanova used this power to bang the wives of kings, the daughters of noblemen, and the absolute sexiest girls Italy had to offer. One historian said he was pursued by so many women that he had to lock himself in his home just to give his manhood a chance to heal. Imagine that. Every girl you talk to, even the hottest ones, are irresistibly drawn to you. What would that be like? Girls find excuses to approach you, to flirt with you. They look up at you with fuck me eyes as they lick their lips, and you literally have a new girl on your arm every time your friends see you. For Casanova, this wasn't just a fantasy. This was his reality. And once you hear the story I'm about to share, you'll get excited, because by the end of this presentation, you'll be holding Casanova's notebook and all the things you ever wanted with women that you pushed down to settle for girls that are just good enough. Well, you can start wanting them again, because you're about to switch on a seduction mechanism that you don't even know you already have inside of you. But before I get into all that, you need to know how I came to possess Casanova's notebook, and why I'm one of the only known owners of a book that was thought to be lost to history. You see, Casanova knew he discovered a power that every man desperately wanted. So from the time he was 28, he kept careful notes. He wrote down everything, from his methods, to his words, to his hypnotic tactics. His book was destined to be a masterpiece on seduction. And as rumors of the book spread across the globe, men's hearts filled with hope. He called it Tequino de Casanova, translated as Casanova's Notebook, and released it shortly before his death in 1798. Men waited weeks, traveled from thousands of miles away, and sold their most precious belongings just to get their hands on it. But the Italian nobility, who hated Casanova so much they banned him from Venice twice, rounded up every book they could find and burned them. Casanova took his dying breath thinking his method died along with him. And what was perhaps mankind's greatest creation went up in smoke like yesterday's garbage. It was a shame, a tragedy, a crime. But history has a way of delivering justice. And 146 years later, a copy of Tequino di Casanova was found by my grandfather, deep in a cellar during the Allied occupation of Venice during World War II. I had no idea what the book was, my grandfather told me later. I just grabbed it because it looked old and valuable. Years later, there I was, rummaging through my grandpa's World War II possessions when a gold-leafed book caught my eye from the bottom of the trunk. Lifting it out carefully, I brought it over to the dusty light pouring through the window. The book looked absolutely ancient. Cracked and water-damaged, it was a miracle it didn't crumble in my hands. My eyes widened and heart raced as I slowly turned through the pages. There were diagrams of the female anatomy, long instructions laid out by Roman numerals, and drawings so X-rated they'd make a porn star blush. The magnitude of what I was holding was not lost on me. A book about women with Casanova written on the cover? I knew it had to be something special. I immediately sent it across the country to a specialist in Italian literature. It came back 6 weeks later with a note that said, "I heard rumors of this book, but I didn't think it actually existed. Enjoy." When I read it for the first time, my mouth was dry and my hands were shaking. From the first sentence, I was in a trance. It was better than I had imagined. His methods were so brilliant, so thorough, so next level, that today's pickup artists look like infants in comparison. The first time I read Casanova's notebook, I got through it in one sitting, lifting my jaw off the floor with what I just learned. That same night, I went to the bar and used Casanova's slip track method on the hottest girl I could find. I messed it up a little bit, but I got about 60% of it right. 30 minutes later, she was giving me a blowjob in the back of my truck. The next day, I was standing in line at the bank using Casanova's 10 pillars method. I didn't say a word to anyone, but the cute girl behind me tapped me on the shoulder. She asked me what time the bank closed, and within 2 minutes asked if I wanted to hang out sometime. A few days later, her panties were hanging out on the floor next to my bed. And I have hundreds, maybe even thousands of similar stories. And no, I'm not good looking, rich, or naturally gifted with women. In fact, before I discovered Casanova's notebook, I'd get like one girl every 2 years. But they usually chose me, and I never had anyone I really wanted. I'd get friend-zoned by the hot ones, and I was always irritated that a nice guy like me was tossed aside for douchebags. I knew if they'd just give me a chance, they'd see how amazing I was. But nope, they'd reject me for guys who couldn't even spell their own last names. Maybe you've experienced that too. Maybe not. But for me, it was frustrating enough to kick a hole in the wall. But today, dude, my game is on a whole other level. And I'm comparing myself to those guys that get more ass than a toilet seat, the naturals who just drip with pussy. Those guys now come to me for advice. And it's all because of Casanova's notebook. At first, I was selfish with my big secret. I guarded it like a heroin addict who just ran across a cartel plane crash. But when you go from having zero game to suddenly being the man, people notice. My best friend was the first to yank the secret out of me. Then more friends got us to confess. And before we could even blink, the thing turned into a full-blown movement. Now here we are, 3 years later, and we've let thousands of men discover Casanova's notebook. Maybe you've even seen us. Average-looking guys leaving the club with bona fide 9s and 10s on our arms, pulling girls from under the noses of those same assholes who used to laugh at us, and being the guys at the party that every girl is thinking about fucking. Imagine your dream girl naked in your bed, running her tongue slowly up and down your cock as she moans with desire. That's my everyday reality. And I have to tell you, it's the dream life. So, if you're sick and tired of struggling to get women, of settling for girls that aren't even close to what you really want, or of being rejected by women like a worthless piece of trash, and if you're ready, really ready, to step into the shoes of the great Giacomo Casanova, then Casanova's notebook is for you. Here are some of the secrets you'll discover when you get Casanova's notebook today. First, you'll learn how to activate what Casanova called the internal flame, a sexual magnetism that all men naturally possess, but that very few know how to switch on within themselves. Once you flip the switch, women will be approaching you, tugging on your shirt as they wait in line for their turn to flirt with you and slip their phone numbers into your pocket. Jerry Martinez, 24, from Cle Elum, Washington, says, "Nero, are you kidding me? The internal flame alone was worth the price of admission. I don't especially like approaching, so having women approach me is something I always wanted. No wonder Casanova has his reputation. Brilliant is an understatement." Next, you'll learn Casanova's hypnotic pattern interrupts that confuse her subconscious and make her lower her guard when you first talk to her. If you struggle with the first few minutes of the conversation, then this tactic is specifically for you. This is the closest thing to a hypnotic watch that exists, and no modern seduction coach has even come close to figuring it out. Question: what do you guys fear most when it comes to women? The answer: rejection. Well, you can say goodbye to the fear of rejection with the approach machine directive. Everyone talks about approaching women like it's something you should be afraid of. But Casanova figured out how to make approaching women a positive, even addicting experience. You'll be so happy with the positive feedback you're getting from girls that you'll start to love approaching them. And in the rare event that they do reject you, I'm going to show you a cool tactic to immediately flip the tables on them and make it look like you rejected them. Walking off like a champ, not a victim. Colt Riggs, 29, of St. Louis, Missouri, says, "I hated approaching girls. It just seems so forced, so awkward. But now that I'm in a position where I'm always the winner, it isn't scary anymore. In fact, I enjoy it almost as much as having sex with a new girl. Almost." Want more? Well, I want more for you. Next, you'll get the 3 doorways technique, where Casanova reveals 3 triggers you can add to your language that quickly flip her attraction hot switches. Dan Samuels, 31, from Fort Collins, Colorado, says, "I said the 3 doorways to a girl in the first 30 seconds of speaking to her, and it was like she transformed before my eyes. She started smiling, leaning in, and laughing at everything I said. I was actually a little freaked out by it. I thought, this girl has lost her mind." Now here's my favorite part of Casanova's notebook, the part I'm most excited to share with new Casanovas like you. Casanova was lazy. So he spent years creating a system where he could flip the tables and make women seduce him. For the first time in 219 years, you'll have the opportunity to learn Casanova's spike technique. When you deploy this technique, it does something to women that makes them chase you. If you're at a nightclub, groups of girls will move close to you and stand with their backs to you. Then, when they finally work up the courage, they'll quickly turn around and introduce themselves. Suddenly, you'll be standing there with 4 girls smiling at you like a pack of nympho zombies, but you have to remember not to say much. Use the method and let the girls do the work. You'll laugh to yourself and look up as you think Uncle Casanova, as hot girls use every trick in the book to win your approval. Jason Anderson, 37 from Perth, Australia says, "I've never seen girls look at me like this before. That look, I think I'm addicted to it. It's like half nervousness, half desire, and the way they find excuses to talk to me, the way they fight for me. I can't get enough of it. I just want to thank you for putting this out into the world, Nero." And that's just the beginning. Actually, it's the beginning to the beginning. Did you know that there are 3 stages of every pickup that you absolutely must cover? In fact, 90% of rejection is due to missing one of these 3 key elements. And even if you blow the entire set, touching on these 3 stages almost guarantees you a phone number. Brandon Jacobs, 41 of Madison, Maine says, "I love how Casanova and Nero break everything down in a logical, step-by-step manner. It's so easy to know where you are and what you have to do next. I was skeptical, but I have to say, this book really lives up to the hype." You'll also be shown how seduction is 90% emotional for a woman, but without the 10% of logic, she will never sleep with you. Casanova will show you exactly where that 10% must be delivered in your seduction sequence, something no other pickup artist has ever thought to teach. Need a foolproof way to ramp up her attraction fast when the conversation starts lagging? Learn what I call the Casanova concept and how adding very specific teasing statements in your conversations will explode her attraction for you like an atom bomb. I can't wait for you to write me an email in all caps telling me how great it feels to have women fighting for your attention. You'll also learn the break to acceleration tactic, where you'll resist her advances in a way that makes her highly frustrated and begging you to have sex with her. Language laundry, where shifting the way you think about women will instantly make you more attractive without doing a single thing to your looks. The 2 masked technique, the 2 questions you must ask when approaching a group that's protecting the hottest girl, and how Casanova regularly used this technique to get inside the panties of Italian nobility. The 9-in-1 rule, a sexual technique that gives women orgasms so explosive, you're guaranteed to be the best sex she's ever had. Ever. And my spin on Casanova's wax seal techniques, where you'll learn 5 bulletproof ways to get her phone number while making it seem like it's her idea. Wesley Kane from Cambridge, UK says, "Nothing is better than making her suggest exchanging phone numbers. I always tell her no the first time and make her really fight for it. It feels so amazing to have that same power that girls used to hold over my head." Now let me ask you a question. Did you know that women want to be seduced? This may come as a shock, but it's true. She just needs an excuse for it to happen. Otherwise, she'll feel like a slut and have no choice but to resist your advances. Because of this, there are 2 hurdles to overcome during the sex phase of the seduction. 1. Casanova is going to give you his exact sequence that'll suddenly make getting into bed with you a completely rational idea. You'll use this tactic when you need to overcome the hurdle of getting her from the couch to the bedroom. 2. You'll get Casanova's comfort protocol that destroys all last-minute sexual resistance and how to blow through it in minutes to make her feel completely comfortable to get naked with you, even on the first night. This is how Casanova could sleep with thousands of women a year. He found the way to bypass hours and hours of wasted time so he could get straight to the point. Next, I'm going to reveal Casanova's brilliant philosophy about your inner state and why getting a few core beliefs right will not only transform your abilities with women, but make you a much happier, more confident man in all aspects of your life. Even if you're in a dark place in your life right now, and even if you're like many of our students who thought they were a hopeless case. Finally, you're going to learn Casanova's fiercely guarded golden rule that he personally applied to all his conquests, and how this rule alone will keep compounding the success you'll be getting with women for the rest of your life, and so much more that I don't have the time to tell you about here. Matt Graham, 29 from Huntington Beach, California says, "Sometimes a product comes along that literally has the power to change your life. Casanova's notebook is that product. When you get Casanova's notebook today, you'll have a toolbox of secrets created by the great Casanova himself. Simply use these secrets and you'll turn into the hot guy that all women desperately yearn for. I can't wait for you to feel what it's like to catch the glances of every girl in the room, their eyes moving irresistibly up and down your body, imagining what you'd feel like inside them. I can't wait for you to experience what it's like to have hot girls approaching you, whispering in your ear, sliding their hands down your chest, and finding any excuse they can to kiss you. But most of all, I can't wait for you to feel what it's like to have your choice with women, to get out of the rut you might be in right now and become the man you've always wanted to be. Casanova's Notebook is the only product in existence that teaches you the exact step-by-step method of the greatest womanizer of all time. All his secrets, all his methods, every technique he ever created are waiting for you inside this book. By this point in the presentation, you might feel hope stirring inside of you, and you've probably been pushing that hope down for longer than you can remember, telling yourself that getting hot girls just isn't your destiny, or that the girls you're getting now are good enough. But I'd like to give you permission to experience that hope again. In fact, I want you to get greedy. I want you to get excited because you're about to own the greatest seduction masterpiece ever written and all the things you've ever wanted with women. The models on your arms, the erotic blowjobs, the sensual threesomes will be yours, including those things you thought were impossible to happen. You getting excited yet? Good, because I'm getting excited for you. I need to ask you a deadly serious question. If you could have just one skill from the great Casanova himself, which skill would that be? Would it be the power to have women approach you? The power to make out with any girl you want? Or maybe it would be the power to get girls naked with just a few hypnotic words. And if you could have that skill right now, how much would you pay for it? I've asked a lot of guys this question, and they always light up when they think about it. They usually tell me they'd pay thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars for just one of Casanova's magic abilities. I mean, just being able to kiss any girl you choose? Most guys would kill for that kind of power. Don't you agree? Now let's take it 100 steps further. What if you could have all of Casanova's abilities, where women are throwing themselves at you on a daily basis and where you're living out your deepest sexual desires literally anytime you want? How much would that be worth? Well, before you go auction your kidney on the black market, I have a confession to make. When I first started selling Casanova's Notebook, I charged an absolute boatload for it. Mostly because I didn't want too many people to see it, but also because guys were willing to pay whatever I asked. But 3 years ago, I realized something. I realized I was being a bit of a douche by holding back Casanova's life work. After all, Casanova wrote his book so that millions of men would see it. And who was I to keep that from them? So I decided to sell Casanova's Notebook for a price that was realistic for anyone. If Casanova wanted men to have this book, then men would have this book. Great news, right? Well, here's the rub. I'm very particular about who I let access this information. I want guys who are serious about taking their game to the next level. I don't want window shoppers, tire kickers, or guys who think they'll just put Casanova's Notebook under their pillow and wake up the next morning with a girl on their dick. Casanova deserves better than that, and frankly, so do you. So I'm only giving access to guys who are committed to taking their game to the next level. Those are the guys who will have amazing success with Casanova's secrets, and those are the guys I want to invite to the inner circle. Because you've watched this far into the presentation, I believe you're one of those guys. I believe you're serious about getting this part of your life settled once and for all. And I believe you'll have great success with Casanova's Notebook. So here's what to do next. Put your email in the box below this video and click the Instant Access button. You'll be taken to Casanova's Notebook VIP members area. This members area is absolutely badass. We have books, videos, t-shirts, and tons of swag you absolutely cannot get anywhere else. There you can get your own copy of Casanova's Notebook, and within minutes, you'll have all the tools you'll need to get all the girls you want. But remember to put your real email address. Fake email addresses will trigger our spam guard, and you'll be permanently banned from accessing the content. Like I said, I want guys who are serious about getting Casanova level game, and I'm only revealing these secrets to those who are willing to commit. Now, to make this an even easier decision for you, I'm going to do something that's just plain reckless. Not reckless for you, but reckless for me. I'm going to shoulder all the risk of your purchase with a 60-day, no questions asked, ironclad money-back guarantee. That means if you're not absolutely blown away by Casanova's Notebook, if you don't go out this weekend and end up with a super sexy girl in your bed, and if you don't write me a fist-pumping letter telling me about all the action you're getting with Casanova's methods, then I don't want your money. I'll happily buy Casanova's notebook back from you, and I'll do it faster than you can snap your eyes shut. That's how much I know you're going to absolutely love this program. And just to make this a complete no-brainer, I'll also throw in some awesome bonuses. First, you'll get one of my most popular programs, Escape the Friend Zone. Nothing is worse than having a deep connection with a girl only for her to reject your advances. And nothing is more painful than imagining the slapping sound of her getting pounded by another guy, usually a guy that treats her like crap, and a guy that would never appreciate her the way you would. In this book, I outline the step-by-step method to break free of the friend zone prison and make her start seeing you for the alpha you truly are. I'll show you how to use Casanova's own methods to transform her feelings for you right before your eyes, and how to have her suggest that you take your friendship to the next level. Not only will this book break you out of the friend zone jail, but it will show you how to never be locked up again. This next bonus is based on something that most guys take completely for granted. Did you know that 93% of women say they will flat out reject a guy if he has a bad sense of style? That's 9 out of 10 girls that will reject you simply if your clothes aren't up to standard. Why? Because women know that style shows your social intelligence, and a socially inept guy is extremely unattractive to women. In my book, Dress to Seduction Success, I'm going to show you the 5 critical pillars to great style and how to create your own sexy style that will say all the right things about you to women without spending a bunch of money and without looking like a try-hard wannabe. I'll also reveal how to use your unique style to get women to approach you and how to turn their predictable comments into attraction-building conversations. This next bonus is one of my personal favorites because it will allow you to seduce really hot girls. I'm talking about girls that look like they just stepped out of a Maxim magazine, and girls so hot they cause traffic accidents when they walk down the street. In my breakthrough book, The Devil's Guide to Dating, I'll show you how to level the playing field when it comes to ridiculously hot women. I'll teach you Casanova's SVR technique and how to destroy her objections like a fully licensed Casanova. After you say these simple lines, she'll know you're a special kind of alpha. She'll be backpedaling and trying to earn your favor, helplessly attracted to you because you're the only guy with balls big enough to speak to her like her daddy. Finally, you're going to get your hands on one of my most jealously guarded books, One Night Stands. There's nothing better than having a girl you just met naked in your bed on her back with her legs spread waiting to take you inside of her. There's just something about having sex with a girl you barely know. It's so primal, so thrilling, and it makes you feel like a total champion. In this book, I reverse engineered Casanova's rapid escalation method and applied it to modern day situations. I'm going to show you Casanova's own techniques for rapidly overcoming her defenses and how to get her naked in the quickest, easiest way possible. Now, I used to sell these books for $97 each. That's $388 total for all the brilliant secrets I reveal in these bonuses. But you're not going to pay $388. In fact, you're not even going to pay 1 red cent because these bonuses are yours absolutely free when you invest in Casanova's notebook and yourself today. So what are you waiting for? Just click the big instant access button below and you'll be taken to our exclusive VIP members area. There you'll have access to Casanova's notebook, plus the 4 awesome bonuses including Escape the Friend Zone, Dress to Seduction Success, The Devil's Guide to Dating, and One Night Stands. And of course, my no BS 60-day money-back guarantee, where I shoulder all the risk and where you have absolutely nothing to lose. Can you think of any reason not to get Casanova's notebook today? Then click the instant access button below and I'll see you inside. Hey, are you still here? Well, maybe that's because you're on the fence about Casanova's notebook. If that's the case, let's review your options, shall we? Option 1. Close this presentation and go back to your current predicament with women. Continue being disappointed with the results you're getting and yell at yourself for not making the change. Always wonder if Casanova's notebook could have been your secret weapon to finally getting the girls you really want. Option 2. Try to find an exceptionally rare original copy of Casanova's notebook, get it translated from its original Italian, and reverse engineer all its methods so they apply to modern times. Wait 5 months to complete that long, tedious process and use it to finally get 10-level game. Option 3. Take the shortest, fastest, most effective way to becoming the girl magnet you've always wanted to be and get Casanova's notebook today. Live out the rest of your life as a full-fledged ladies' man and smile knowing you had the courage to take action when a life-changing opportunity presented itself. You've watched this far into the presentation for a reason. There's a feeling inside you that knows there's something better. It knows your ticket to the good life is just on the other side of saying yes today. And remember, you have absolutely nothing to lose. If you don't love Casanova's notebook, just send me an email and I'll refund every cent of your money. That means you can discover all of Casanova's secrets with absolutely zero risk. So either you win or you win. Pretty good odds, right? And just to make this the easiest decision you've ever made, I'll even take it one step further. If you choose to return the program, you can go ahead and keep the bonuses at my expense. That's how much I know you're going to love Casanova's notebook. Imagine the hottest girl you've ever seen kissing your neck as she unbuckles your belt, sliding your underwear down as she looks up at you with her innocent eyes, taking you into her warm, wet mouth and urging you, begging you to put your dick deep inside her. Those experiences will be yours when you invest in Casanova's notebook today. And even if I'm only half right, you'll still get more action in 1 month than you would in a lifetime. So don't wait 1 instant longer. Enter your email below and click the instant access button right now and experience what it's like to have everything you ever wanted with women. 4 years ago, my life changed when I discovered Casanova's notebook in my grandfather's trunk. And now it's your turn to lift the lid. Within seconds, you'll be holding Casanova's notebook just as I was. And a once-in-a-lifetime journey will begin for you, just as it did for me. The only question is, are you ready? Truly ready to possess a power that you've wanted for as long as you can remember? If you are, then enter your email below and get access to the greatest book on seduction ever written. Your dream girls are waiting. I'll see you inside.